Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I hope you guys are all having a great day. I am with a very, very, very special guest today, a guest that's actually already been on the podcast, but someone I wanted to bring back on because he's been having a lot of success. And again, he just has so many great tips that he can share and that he's going to bring you listeners that's going to get you guys jobs. So again, I'm already telling you, before we even start this, I already know this is going to be so much value. So make sure that you guys are saving this one, that you guys are going to go back and watch it a couple times, because as we all know, sometimes it takes a couple of times hearing things to have them click. But I promise you, if you take time to listen to this, you're good at breaking into the industry. So getting into it, today we have the special guest of having Austin Mayo on our podcast. Austin has been on, last time he was on the podcast, he had just graduated from medical sales college. He had broken into the industry. He was having success. Now Austin is working for a distributorship, having great success there. We talk every week. It's fun to see him grow and see what he's accomplished. And again, we're going to have him come and share his tips for you guys and share what he's learned over the last 6 months to a year, and also where he's had a lot of success and how to stand out and how to get hired as well, because he's gotten hired multiple times in this industry, which is not easy. So Austin, welcome back, man.
What's up, guys? And Jacob, thanks again for having me. I'm really grateful to be able to give some solid advice and from my experience. And hopefully today you guys gain something as well from this. But really grateful to be here, Jacob.
Yeah, man, we're so excited to have you. And like I said, you guys, this is probably the most fun for me is, I mentioned it on the last podcast with Austin, but Austin was somebody who just reached out, just like I tell all you guys to reach out, network with me, reach on LinkedIn. And we did. And we hit it off. We had the same background, strength and conditioning. And we're able to just connect, and he had a drive. We have a very similar personality. And so we've been able to stay in touch and just watch Austin's journey, especially in medical device sales. We're able to chalk it up. We're able to talk about our experiences together, but also just, he's in a very different role as a distributor that I am as a W-2 employee. So I think that's a lot of fun, and also just see there's challenges in each. So we're able to bounce ideas off each other and also see he's on one side of the United States, I'm on the other. So we're able to see different territories. So it's a lot of fun. And that's why I just love being able to bring new people. But just going back, Austin, let's give them a little recap. Can you kind of give your journey about breaking into the industry, kind of what your journey was like, and going from there?
Yeah, for sure. So a little bit about my journey. A lot of you may not know that I was doing strength conditioning prior to this. I turned down a job offer with Notre Dame to pursue something that I seen a lot of value in, a lot of opportunity in. So, to sum it all up, I jumped into medical sales college. It was a 3-month course. Shortly after, I landed a job with a smaller company, selling DME. Shortly after that, I made my way into a dream role of orthopedics. It was by far probably one of the hardest journeys that I've went on. It's not been easy. A lot of wrong turns, I would say, but each wrong turn taught me, things about myself and helped me grow into the person that I am today. And to a lot of you now, the journey is going to be tough, but I promise you it's well worth it. Well worth it.
I love it.
So,
and man, I want to, oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, man, I just love that. Again, it's always, you mess up to learn, right? And all those wrong turns led you to where you are right now. We're having the success, and they taught you valuable lessons to be where you are right now.
Yeah. One thing I like to say is when you fell, fell flat on your face. And, that's a saying that I like to live by, because without failure, you can't grow to the next best version of yourself. So it's a very valuable asset to come a part of.
Yeah, 100%, man. And the thing I just want to touch real quick, I know we've talked about this before, you and me, and also listeners, but medical sales college, you did it. You did the 3 months, quick in, quick out. Again, this is never me giving an opinion. I just want to ask your opinion. Do you feel medical sales college was the reason you got hired? Because I have people reach out just like you do, asking about it. Your honest opinion, was medical sales college the reason you got hired, or do you feel like it helped a lot? I'd just love to shed a little light on that.
Yeah, I love this question because, my opinion, there's two sides of it. Personally, me having the background that I have from strength conditioning, medical sales college was, really not something I would have initially invested in if I knew what I was going into, so to speak, because, it's really just general fundamentals, just something to kind of get your feet wet with. Um, but let's look back at someone who may not have that background that I had. It's definitely beneficial, something that they can get their feet wet with and kind of get that foundation, so when they do get into the industry, they know a little bit about anatomy, how to navigate hospitals, surgical techniques, but me personally, it just wasn't all that it was made out to be. You know, then again, I paid 15, 16K for it, like we spoke about. And, it's just looking back, the just the whole, course itself just wasn't for me, so to
Yeah.
speak.
And like we said, I've said the same thing, right? I feel like if you have a science background, you don't need it. If you maybe don't have a science background and you don't know anything about medical sales or just anatomy, not a bad refresher. Again, I also feel like YouTube and paying a couple $100 for an anatomy book and classes that could also help as well. But like the thing that you and I have talked about, right? 15K is a lot of money, but also just bringing in like it was because of your go-getter spirit that got you interviews. It got your jobs, right? It was you being a former athlete, you being a hustler that got yourself in front of people. It wasn't the medical sales college certification. And I just always want to state that to people because there's a lot of people like a college degree. They think they go to college, they come out and they're like, "Where's my job offers, baby?" And let me tell you, there's not any. You will be flat on your face if you think that is your way of going into it. It's you still have to work your butt off to network to get in front of these people while also doing medical sales college.
Yeah, and keyword network. Love that. It's used a lot. Jacob says it a lot, but I can't stress that enough how important, networking is, from LinkedIn to Facebook to Instagram to even going to hospitals and being willing to, hand out your resume. That speaks volumes, and it goes a long way. So don't overlook that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love it. So we got through that. So again, now let's get back into you broke into medical device sales. Can you kind of go into what have you learned since you've been in medical device sales? What obstacles have you had to overcome while you've been in it and just the overall learning experience now that you've been in it for some time?
Yeah, so coming in, I kind of had an idea of what to expect, but obviously when you're in it, it's completely different. Very, very fast paced, and you have to learn on your feet, think on your feet. And working for a distributor, and an untapped market, somewhere that I've been able to grow tremendously. I've been faced with a lot of obstacles from SPD to, obviously hearing a lot of no's. But my biggest concern or thing I would stress is consistency. Following up with your surgeons, following up with SPD offices, checking the schedule. Because myself, when it comes to SPD, if you're not constantly checking your trays, you're not following up, staying on top of the game. Come surgery, 30 minutes before you see you're missing an instrument, you know, there's no way to back that up. So being consistent is a big thing in this industry.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I've been there, like we've talked about. It just takes. I've had it where you go in, you go do a tray, and SPD they open the tray and they're like, "There's a object missing. One of your supplies is missing." Or the worst one for me was they had a new person working there. They didn't teach him how to tag it correctly. So because they didn't tag it correctly, we couldn't use it for the surgery because it didn't go through their process, even though it was all sterile. And I lost the case because of that. So it's also the obstacles of what you're overcoming, especially with you, a new product, right? Mine's been around for a while. Yours is brand new. Now, you were a W-2 and now you've been a 1099 distributor, actual company. Can you kind of just go on your little experience there of just being with the distributorship and then also as a W-2, because that's a very common question that we get, just asking, which route should I go? What's best for me? Or what's the differences?
Yeah. So, being in both, I can kind of speak of both worlds, but going back to W-2, obviously you're going to have all the benefits, the packages. Your tax will be taken out. As to what I've seen from 1099, if I have a really good month, I have to put 3 to 4K back because at the end of the year, you got to pay that back in taxes each month. And you also have to provide your own health insurance. That's very crucial, especially, I have a buddy who is 1099 as well. And, he didn't put back for his taxes and it kind of bit him in the back. So, definitely putting back money if you're 1099 because that's very important. But, I see a lot more growth in 1099 myself. This is my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Um, there's a lot of room for growth with 1099. The amount you can make is remarkable, from what I've experienced, and kind of get your own feel for what you want. Do your research, but they both have their pros and cons for sure.
100%, man. And like you're saying, so when you're a 1099 to everyone who's listening, you're your own business. You're your own LLC. You got to get your own corporation or whatever you're going to do in that realm, but you got to keep your own taxes. You got to keep your own expenses, everything. If you're paying gas or travel or you get a car, insurance, phone, right? Like if you're with a W-2, you might get a phone, you might get a car, you might get a laptop, pay for your gas, all your expenses. When you're a 1099, that's not happening. That's coming out of your pocket and then that's going into your taxes. And then like Austin's saying, with a W-2, they just take my taxes out. I don't worry about it. I just say take this much out. Bam, good. For Austin, he's having to think about that now as a 1099. Hey, I might need to be saving 10, 15, 20% every month because I got to see where I'm going to go at the end of the year. So that's something I wanted to touch on, but also to everybody who's listening for the W-2 compared to that 1099. This is something that I hear a lot of times. It makes me laugh, but it's just the reality, right? I hear a lot of times W-2 is safe. It's the safe route, right? And the reason I say that is because, they're like with with some of those big companies, it can be hard to like get let go, which in reality it's not. That's why I always laugh when they say safe. But in the thing to think about though is with the W-2, it could be a steady income month to month. You're probably going to get a base and a salary, and as long as you're doing pretty well, you're going to be getting that a certain round amount every month compared to, like Austin was stating, a 1099. It's 0 to 100, right? Like if you have a bad month, it could be a goose egg. But if you have a great month, you could be making way more than you ever could as a W-2, or at least faster and stuff. So that's the realm, because I always look at kind of the 1099 route personally with people I've talked to, like yourself and others, is risk and reward. There's a high risk, but there's also a high reward.
Oh, 100%. And I love how you stated that as well. And I left out the LLC portion, but there's a huge advantage to that when it comes to taxes, tax write-offs, et cetera. But definitely, like you said, it's definitely worth the risk, for the reward, 100%.
Yeah, and I see it, and I've talked to a lot of people who feel the same way. And again, what the most common thing is just to anybody who's like thinking about this route is, that first year or two building that business, it can be rough, you know, but there's other people who can come in and crush it right away, like yourself. You know what I mean? But then it just can go from there. Compared to W-2, it might just be a steady increase each year, right? Oh, you did a good job, so we might increase your base a little bit, and then okay, if you're over plan, you might make this much, right? Again, so there's not a better one. It's just what fits you the best, and this is where self awareness comes in, because there's some people you talk to, hey, it's eat. You're going to either go get the sale or you're not going to make any money. And some people thrive on that and they're like, I love it. And then there's other people who are like, oh, I could never do that. Right. So it's just knowing yourself and that self awareness as you guys are going into it. Now, Austin, like we talked about, you've had a lot of success. We talk every week. I've seen it. We talk about your success that you're having in your territory. Can you kind of go in the points of how to stand out in the industry? Because again, you've gotten hired twice, but you're also now in as a rep having a lot of success.
Yeah. First and foremost, you have to understand this is an industry where you're forever learning. Every day you're going to encounter something new, which means you can learn something new. The moment you think you know it all is when you become behind. And competition, I promise you, will surpass you very fast. This is an industry where you have to be humble and you have to show gratitude. And every day, like I said, it's forever learning. Like there's always something to learn in this industry. And I kind of want to touch on some points. I have five good points that I have for you guys. Write them down, look at these, and really think on them because they're very important. And take them with a grain of salt as well because this is from my experience, and your experience may be different. But I'm gonna share those with them if you don't mind, Jacob.
100%, man. This is your show.
All right, awesome. So, number one, get to the hospital and offices after hours. Don't just show up to the hospital or your surgeon's offices when you have surgery scheduled, right? Because when you're constantly showing up after hours, when you don't have surgeries, when you don't have things scheduled, that establishes credibility, and that credibility leads to sales, and sales are obviously going to lead to success. That's something that I myself take advantage of. Just going and building these relationships, and you have to constantly nurture them every day, because I promise you, when you're not there, there's another rep knocking on the door, and you have to be aware of that. Number two, get to know the lay of the land. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're new, you're not familiar with the hospital settings, go there on the weekend, walk through the hospital, ask questions, talk to circulating nurses, staff, reps. I promise you, they're more than willing to help you, show you around. Especially SPD, as you know, Jacob, can be a hassle. So definitely knowing that can make your life a whole lot easier. Number three, when you're in the room, the spotlight, if you look, there's a light shining down. That light is always on the surgeon, the patient, and the PA. This is crucial to know. Never steal the spotlight in the room. That's something that I live by, and I was told by one of my mentors as well. The spotlight is on them. So you're there to help serve them, to help bring something, to help bring value to the room. Um, Number four, know your products like the back of your hand. This is going to help you give advice and navigate questions within surgery, because I promise you questions will come up. They ask, they ask all the time, and you have to know, you have to think on your feet. And the better you know your products, the better you're going to help be able to navigate these questions and help give the best possible advice. And obviously, you're going to be able to help sell your products to these surgeons, to these providers more efficiently. Number five, lastly, follow through. Now, this is something that is very crucial. When you say you're going to do something, do it. You say you're going to show up, you're going to have a meeting, you're going to have a lunch, follow through. Because the moment you start saying you're going to do it and not backing up what you say, then you limit trust. Once you lose trust with your providers or your staff, you can count your sales or your success out, because this is very crucial in the sales industry, just establishing that trust with everyone around you. That's five important things that I feel will take you far in this industry.
Man, you guys, please do yourself a favor, rewind the last 5 minutes and go back and listen to that 3, 4, 5, 6 times if you don't get it, because every point is so crucial that Austin stated. And number three, I just wanted to put it as always keep the patient in mind. There's a little bit of a lag, but always, for everyone who's listening, you know, Austin, that's why he's having this success, as he is experiencing it. And it's the same thing with me. Like we've talked about this, but like for me, like in the office, I literally actually just posted on LinkedIn today. I went and I got a huge sale, not because that's what I was trying to do. It was because I went to one of my accounts that didn't have any surgeries today to check in on them, make sure that they're fully stocked for upcoming surgeries, and to say hi. And I got a talk from the OR director. They're like, "We appreciate you coming in and checking on the staff and the supplies, because sometimes we're just so busy, and it truly makes our life easier. So thank you so much." And again, they appreciate it, and also it helps me because I get the sale when they go and do the order. So again, it's always just being an asset in your accounts. And then again, never about you. You're just always trying to learn. And then what, Austin, I just wanted to say, number five, follow through. That is literally everything. everything. You don't follow through once, you become like every other rep who said he was going to do something or she was going to do something and they didn't. And now you know why they have such a problem with reps, because they have reps, even with me. You want to know why I've had so much success? Let me give it to you. I say I'm available. And when they call me on a Sunday at 2 when I'm not supposed to be in, I pick up and I show up. I say, if you have a problem, FaceTime me, call me, no matter when. That happens, I pick up. I can be a resource anytime. And it's literally just because I said I was going to do something and did it. And it amazes me, as you guys know, if you're listening to this, how many of you, just in yourself, don't follow up? You say you're going to follow up with somebody, you don't. You say you're going to do something and you don't. And I just want you guys to know, especially if you're trying to break into this industry, managers notice, reps notice. I get called all the time. Hey, do you know of any jobs? Right now, my company's hiring. I get called all the time, and they're asking me if I will put my name to some people. No, there's a lot of people I won't, because I already know that if I talk to too many people, first off, but second off, there's too many people that I'm not going to put my name on, because again, I can talk to you for 5 minutes, but I don't know how you are outside of it. And again, especially if I don't get a follow-up message, or if they're not following up with other people and they're not coming prepared, that's just going to knock you out. So I really wanted to hit on that last one that Austin just stated. Number 5 is following up and just being there, following through, because that's literally everything. And I promise you, like he said, you follow through for your staff, your accounts, and your surgeons, you're going to have so much success financially in this career, whatever it is, and you'll be a happy person.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And I also want to state that, everybody's different, obviously, but I can honestly tell you, your morning routines that you have will go a long way in this industry, because that speaks a lot about you. And like Jacob stated, people notice. I have reps come up to me all the time, asking if I know anyone who is looking for a job in the industry. It's a small world and it's all connected. So to you guys listening, just take advantage of every day, because I promise you there's opportunities out there for you that will fit you perfectly. And you may get something that's not for you, but in the end, you're going to learn something from each situation, and it's going to help shoot you in a positive direction if you let it. Take everything with a grain of salt, but know you have to learn every single day to be the best in this industry. And Jacob and I, that's why I love talking to Jacob. He motivates me, puts a fire under me, and I hope I do the same from
He
him.
do, you do the same, man. I just didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, but just having people like this in your corner that'll motivate you every day, because I promise you, every day is not sunshine and rainbows. It's a very stressful job. A lot comes with this, but you can have a lot of success in this industry if you're willing to separate yourself and put the work in. But
Yeah. And the one thing I do want to touch on, Austin, is just we've talked about this all the time, but I always want to drive this home to all the listeners. You want to know what success is? It's accountability. It's being able to say you messed up when you messed up. It's understanding that sometimes, like again, we've talked about with SPD, there were some learning moments where they messed up, but guess what? It came back to me because I didn't go through and I didn't walk them through. I just expected them to know. I didn't take them. So no matter where you're at in this world, it's always about the accountability and having people that can keep you accountable. Again, like I said, that's why I like having Austin and other people in my corner that are going to help drive me, keep me accountable. But this is my number one thing to everybody that's trying to break in. I'm promising you, because I talk to managers, the number one reason people don't get hired is, besides the not following through, not coming in, showing that they're prepared. Sorry, my dogs are attacking each other and I'm trying to stop them. But it's the part of just not coming in and being accountable for themselves and having that fire to go after it. Because I talk to so many people that come into this industry expecting, and expecting will make you not get into this industry, and it will get you out of this industry so fast. Because the most common thing I hear is reps coming in to try to be associate sales reps, and a full line sales rep has them go and run a couple trays and run a couple cases and maybe fly somewhere. And you know what the comment they say? Well, why doesn't my rep do that? And that's where I always have my biggest smile, because that is your job.
welcome to the industry.
Yeah, your job is to do all the stuff that full line sales rep doesn't have time to do or doesn't want to do. And you are there to earn your stripes. And it's the expecting mindset that gets so many people brought out. And I'm telling you guys from experience, I have had managers straight up tell me they don't hire people because they're like, they feel like they're a little spoiled brat. because they can tell by on the phone that they're not going to work very hard. Oh, I get people who call me all the time. I don't want to work more than 40 hours a week and make 100K. So do I. Everybody wants to do that, but it's just not reliable. So you guys have to come in. You have to be accountable. You have to have a drive. You have to be able to be a go-getter. And again, sometimes I'll get told that I come off a little aggressive. I'm not trying to come off aggressive. I'm just coming off with passion, because I'm telling you, if you take these words to heart and you take what Austin's 5 tips he just said to you to heart, not only will you break in, you are going to have success and you will love this career and you'll financially be set up. And that's why I'm doing this, because we know we've lived it and we are currently living it and experiencing it. This industry can change your life. And if you do the right things, you can set your future up, you can set yourself up, and you're only going to keep growing. And it's just a beautiful thing to be able to help other people.
Yeah. And, helping people is something that gets me out of bed every day, because, after that surgery, that follow-up comes, that patient comes in, just seeing the smile on their face, how their life's changed, they're being able to walk, play with your grandkids again. That's very, very humbling. And I can tell you that seeing that drives me like crazy. And I hope it does for you too, because
100%.
having a why for what you do will take you so much further. I promise you.
And it has to. You have to have a why. It has to be more than the money. I say this to people all the time. I know people who make a lot of money, but they don't have the passion behind it, or they don't have the reason, the why for it, and it's just empty, right? So no matter what you're doing, and here's the biggest thing, right? I talk about this one. If your why's not big enough, the money's not worth it. You won't deal with half the bull crap, especially as an associate. If your why's not big enough, you won't deal with all the stuff you go through for 50, 60, $70,000, because it's a lot. And that's what people don't understand. So your why has to be bigger than you. It has to be, like Austin said, it's when I get a call at 9 o'clock at night and my product is what the surgeon uses to save that person's life. And they walk out and they're like, I'm just trying to not have this person bleed out. And then after the case, they use our device, they find it, and they're like, thanks for coming in. Thanks for being part of this team. This patient's going to be good now. Right. It's not only that you make it for your doctor, but it's that person who's on the bed. It's that patient. It's that mother. It's that sister. It's that, husband. It's that father. It's that dad. You right. That's the thing that drives me, and it's got to drive you. And that's what, money's great. The money will come if you're successful with this. But again, it's got to be bigger than just money, because if you're just money, here's the thing. Even if you go and you do great in this career and you make the money, like, it's not going to fill your soul. And that's what me and Austin really would connect on, man, is like, it's got to be, you got to have a why. And that's why we do these podcasts. That's why Austin kills it on TikTok. If you guys haven't, Austin has a massive TikTok that goes viral, sounds viral. But again, because he shares love and he just motivates other people to be better and be their best selves. And that's what we're here for. It's just to help other people.
Ambition. I love ambition, the word ambition. It's just a desire to achieve something, to serve for something bigger than you. And if you've never heard of ambition, look it up. It's something that I live by, Jacob lives by. It's something that goes a long way. So.
Yeah. And so again, you guys, we go on our tangents because I just want to help you guys. I know we got a little sidetracked off of medical device sales, but the one thing I do want to just kind of finish up with you, Austin, is, can you go in, you've gotten hired by 2 people, right? Two companies. Can you just kind of give these listeners a couple tips in just the hiring process, right? Because if you guys go back and listen, you'll hear how to be a successful rep. But how do these people get into being a rep? How do they break in, and what helps separate you to get those jobs?
Yeah, so obviously, sales experience will separate you, background, experience. But let's say you lack that. How do you stand out? I lack that myself, right? How did I stand out in this industry? And I can tell you one thing that helped me stand out. It's letting these hiring managers and these interview processes, because they're long processes, but it's letting them know what I'm going to bring to the table for them, whether I lack experience or not. They know what they're getting. They know what they're signing up, and I know what I'm signing up for. And you make that clear in the interview. Let them know what they're getting, who they're getting, not just what, but who. Be very clear about yourself, but also have it backed up by actions, right? So if you lack sales experience, you can go get a job, get it sales experience. But I'm going to tell you, you can get in without it because I did it. Jacob did it.
Yep.
It's possible. People say you can't, but you can. So don't let something like that limit you from going for it. Um, but you also have to believe in yourself. I can honestly tell you when you go with these bigger companies, you'll do a thing called product presentations. Knowing this product front to back, being able to present it efficiently, hitting the benefits, the features, being very clear, vocal. That's something that these hiring managers look for. That's something that's going to get you in. The interview process was very long. I was turned down a lot. I was told a lot of yeses, but at the end of the day, you have to go where you're wanted, where they value you, because you can work for companies who don't value you as a person, right? They just think you're some other rep or some other person. So my biggest advice is go to where you're valued, where you're wanted, and obviously where you can bring value as well.
Yep.
But that's just a little bit about the process.
I love it, man. And I'm going to touch on this for all you listeners because Austin nailed it on the head. I got told a million times I wasn't going to break in with no sales experience. He got told a million times he wasn't going to break in with no sales experience. Everybody says it's impossible until it's possible, right? That's the world. Everybody can't do anything until we do it, and then now it's possible, right? But the reason I'm coming at you, you hear it in my voice because I love it. You hear it in Austin's voice. It's the passion. It's the hunger. It's the I don't really give a crap what anybody says. I'm going to prove you wrong. And I just believe in myself so much. This is what I tell everybody. They're going to teach you a product. They're going to teach you how to sell. They're going to teach you what you need to know. But know what you can't teach? You can't teach waking up at 4 a.m., working a 14-hour day, and do it again and again. You can't teach someone being able to read the room, being able to talk to doctors, and just have the likability. You can't teach all these things. And at the end of the day, it really just comes down to, are you going to work harder than everyone else? And I know that's where me and Austin hit it every time. Strength and conditioning. You want to find people who work hard, go to strength and conditioning, because I promise you, to everybody listening, someone in strength and conditioning works longer hours, works harder, and makes less money than you. And so they'll crush you if they get a chance. And that's why I laugh, because everyone who listens to this, you guys know I'm real. Most of you guys are weak. You just want to barely put in the effort. You want to make some money. You want to tell your friends that you're in medical sales. Like, screw off. Like, literally,
Yeah, it
I
sounds
will
cool.
I will eat you for breakfast and then run you away, because first off, I know what I'm good at. I know how to make relationships, and then guess what? I'll wake up at 3:30 to beat you at the hospital by 4. Like, I don't care. I will just work harder. And that was always my sell. And I know for you too, I was already waking my butt up every day at 4 a.m. And a lot of times I didn't get done training till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And I want to get home till 9 o'clock at night. So I was already working harder than most people. So you give me a product to sell, easy. You tell me to work at 6 or a 10, 12-hour day, easy, already doing it, right? But that's what most people lack, and that's what you guys hear me. That's why I come with so much passion. Most people are just lazy. Even if you guys have these awesome characteristics, you just don't want to work hard enough. You want it to be handed to you, or you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And so this passion I'm coming with you guys right now, this was every interview I interviewed with, because nobody was going to work harder than me. Nobody was going to come with more prepared. And if I messed up, guess what? I was going to say I messed up and I'll figure it out so I don't mess up again. I was going to be vulnerable and I was going to be honest. But most people are trying to put on this front that they're like, I got it all put together, when you don't, because you don't even know what medical sales is. You don't know what SPD is, but you're trying to get hired in this industry, but you're trying to put on a front, which these people see past, and then you want to only work a little bit. You need to still go get drunk with your buddies or your girlfriends on the weekends. You still need to go do. And again, there's nothing wrong with that if that's you, but I'm trying to tell you, this is why you're not getting hired, because there's someone like me in Austin who, I don't need that. I have a bigger purpose on my life than getting wasted all the time. So guess what? I'm going to come in and I'm going to crush it when I get in, and I'm going to take any opportunity I have. And it doesn't matter if it's the lowest performing territory in the nation or it's a distributorship that you have to go eat what you kill. You're going to come in and you're going to just crush life. And that's just the mindset you have to have. And let me promise you, that's why me and Austin got hired, because nobody was going to tell us no. And when we got the door slammed in our face, guess what? We kept going to the next door, to the next door. And finally they opened up, just like they do right now. When the doctors tell us no, we get another doctor that used to be a no. Now it's a yes, or we find a new doctor that nobody knew about.
I love that. And I'm going to sum this up real quick. And like we say, we're keeping it short and sweet. No, being told no drives me. It drives Jacob. It should drive you, right? That should not be an end all be all, right? Because I promise you, you control your destiny, whether you know it or not. And I'm not going to go on a rant, but I want to tell you a little something of how being consistent and sacrifice took me to another level in my territory. When I came in, it was untapped, right? I had one doctor. That's it. Now I have four. And I went from I took a doctor from a company who's been with them for 25 years in 6 months, right? And I'm going to tell you how. Consistency, being there in the after hours, took this doctor from another company to mine. And I can tell you why. Because this doctor wanted a relationship. He wanted someone who was going to be there every day to help serve him, make his life easier, and take care of his patients and bring trust, right? The other rep didn't do that. They got comfortable. And that's why I slipped in and took his business. And I can tell you, you cannot be comfortable in this industry. You have to wake up every day fired up and go get it. You're gonna have bad days. It's gonna suck. I promise you, it sucks at times. And Jacob can tell you, man, like you'll want to pull your hair out. But at the end of the day, when you get back home, lay your pillow on your bed, you know you gave it your best.
Yep.
And that's something that helps you sleep at night and helps you wake up the next day to be even better. So that's just a little bit of advice. I don't mean to go into a rant, but
No, man, I'm the king of rants. But I wanted to just touch on this
yeah,
for everybody who's listening that just heard that. I already know where their head went, and they're like, only four doctors. Let me promise you,
yeah,
people, four doctors
yeah,
with four doctors making more than you make this month. Easy. So one doctor makes more than you make this month. So just put that into your head. So that's what people miss as they do this number, but they don't know the actual concentration of it. So again, when Austin's saying that, for doctors, I don't think you guys understand, especially if they're good volume doctors, what that can mean for somebody. So again, but what he's saying is again, it's relationships, it's showing up, it's doing the right thing, it's the passion. And Austin, as you can tell, he can read people. He knows what to come in. And this is the biggest thing. A no is just a no right now. That doesn't mean it's a no
yeah,
next week for me, at least, someone else. But the biggest other thing too is like he said, it drives us, and it's just going to get us closer to where we're trying to go. And we're always learning. So if you don't like no, well, then you're going to hate this job, because guess what? I get told no all the time. But guess what? Even today, I've been told no for the last 9 months. Just got the yes that the purchase orders is on, it's on its way. That yes or that no for 9 months or 8 months just turned into a yes with a sale, you know? So that's what people don't understand. But again, Austin, first off, man, I just want to say thank you for taking time, jumping on, because I know this is going to impact other people. But I appreciate the tips that you just give our listeners, because again, as you know, you and me are close. I love what you're doing, but again, I know the success you're having, and I know if people just take this clip and they go back and listen to your 5 tips and everything that you said, you'll not only break in, you guys, you'll come in and you'll have success. And whatever that is for you, if that's financial, if that's just jumping up in the career ladder, whatever it is, because Austin's doing it and he's done a great job thus far. And again, so new, and he's able to fight back whenever he needs to fight back and be able to climb when he needs to climb. And that's what makes a great rep. But Austin, where can these guys find you if they want to reach out?
You can find me on LinkedIn, or better yet, Instagram as well. My handle is Austin Mayo 21. Send me a message, send me questions. I'm more than willing to answer anything best I can. I can jump on calls, Zoom calls, because I'm like Jacob. I like giving back. I like being able to help you guys break into this industry, because it is tough, and it can be very stressful. And looking up at someone who's in that position, it can almost demotivate you sometimes if you compare yourself. But we want to give you the tools to get in. We want to help you guys, because a lot of you have so much potential, and you just don't realize it yet, because you're scared to take that leap, scared to jump out, scared to reach out to someone. But please message me, and I'll do what I can.
Yeah, and like he said, I just want to touch on that to change your life, man. Me and Austin talk about this. If you would have told me where I was a year ago, what the success I had, what I handled, and even just how my brain works now, to where our plans, where you and I talk about where we're thinking next of like other things, and just growth opportunity, investments, stuff like that, building wealth. Like that's what people don't understand is like this career will help you grow into the person you're trying to become and a person you never even thought you could become. So
Yeah.
honestly, take that. And then also, guys, I'm just gonna plug Austin because you guys need to. You need to check him out on TikTok, Austin Mayo. Like he puts out motivational stuff. He's impacted so many people. But I would just encourage you guys, if you have TikTok, go check him out on TikTok because again, he's doing great things over there as well. Outside the medical device sales world, just again empowering people and giving back and making them find their potential. So, Austin, I just want to say thank you again, man. Appreciate you so much.
Hey, thank you guys for listening, and remember, kindness always wins. So,
100%. Well, you guys,
yep.
appreciate you guys taking time listening. Again, you guys, if you can, if you're watching on YouTube, press that like and subscribe button. If you're listening on the podcast, a 5-star review helps us grow this channel and impact other people's lives. Again, if you guys are interested in new to medical device sales, how my book about how I got 4 job offers from top 30 medical device sale companies, you can go to my website that's in the description, new to medical device sales.com. As well, there will be my second book, First Year In, going over my first year in the industry. Again, all the things that I've learned, all the things that I wish I would have known, how I've had success of turning the lowest performing territory in the nation, breaking top 5, breaking top 10, and just tips that I wish I would have known or what I've learned and what I want to give back to you guys. So again, if you are in the industry or you're looking at getting in the industry, I wanted to write that for you guys too. And then again, I put out there, we're doing a weekly email on that. You guys can put it in. It will give you a free 30, 60, 90-day plan. So you guys can have that for your interview process, but also every week I'm putting out blogs and emails to you guys to give you resources to help you break into this awesome industry. And then lastly, I keep forgetting to mention it, I created a Facebook group. My goal with that Facebook group, it's new to medical device sales, is to get us a group where we can have people like myself, Austin, other reps that are in the industry, and people that are wanting to break in, and make this community where people who are wanting to break in can ask questions, where we can answer as reps, make just a more community. Again, because the fun thing for me will be the people that we've had on these shows and the hundreds of screenshots that I have that have reached out and said they broke in, is to again make this community to always be giving back. So again, if you guys are on Facebook, you can go to New Medical Device Sales. We'll add you to the group, and again, that's just to grow it. But again, guys, I want you to know how much I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys listening every week, and just thank you for all you do. We're excited to see where this goes. Austin, again, thanks for your time. I appreciate you so much, brother, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.